The International Esports Federation 12th Esports World Championship Sri Lanka Qualifier. In association with the International Esports Federation. Organized by Sri Lanka Esports Association. Strategic partner, Gamer.lk. Venue partner, Play Arena. Official games store partner, TechRoot.
The International Esports Federation World Championship Sri Lankan Qualifier. So the winners of this qualifiers will be taking part in a regional qualifier, and then they will stand a chance. The winners of that will be able to represent their country in Israel for the grand finals. So today we had one of the Dota 2 semi-finals take place. We had Tekken finals take place, and now we are getting into the second Dota 2 semi-finals. And joining me on the cast is none other than Abdul Nightblade. Hi, Abdul.
Hi, dude. I think the second semi-finals is honestly
even.
Not even, but it's going to be interesting because both the teams have very different sorts of picks.
Okay.
You see, Team Tempest has they like picking their Visages, their Razors, and 683 have their like Life Stealers, and they have like the Storm Spirit, and they have different play styles than what we normally see. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be interesting to see how they draft against each other, because I think they have counters to each other, but it just depends on how they actually play those heroes in the lanes.
So right now we have the two teams on screen. We have on 683, we have Sazu, Chatushka, Sulakshana, Devon and Nehara on the side of 683, and on the side of Tempest we have Misery, Akuna, Devilish, Hoda, Enru and Loading. So some of these names are quite popular, especially from Team Tempest. They have been around for at least the last 3-4 years in the Dota 2 scene. Has been I wouldn't say a top tier team, but they have been a very consistent team. They have been within the top 5 to 6 inside the country for the longest time, and have had decent performances over the years. Have come very close to beating certain really good teams.
Honestly, and with their Arc Wardens.
They had a really good Arc Warden player at one time, and they have taken out good teams as well in certain tournaments. So they are definitely not a team that is new or a team that will go easy on another team.
I think they're like on the brink of knowing how to go to the next step, but they're just not there. They haven't found that rhythm or synergy or whatever they're lacking.
I think they need to just. I think their team synergy, I think, is pretty good. I think they need to work on their individual mechanical skills, which I feel like that they're lacking. And I think if they can work on that, I think Tempest has the capability of going far. And then 683 is a very new team, but very decent, I must say. I mean, they have had some good performances over the years. I think they came about, I think, 2 years back, I think they came into the scene. And if I remember right, there are a bunch of players who played COD before that, and they transitioned into Dota later on, and they have had decent performance. So like you said, I think it's definitely going to be an interesting matchup between the two. Obviously Tempest coming in as the stronger team here, and 683 coming in as the underdogs. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, anything can happen in a game of Dota, and especially because it's a BO1.
Yeah, we see Axe ban. I think we see a lot of bans that are just targeted at certain players right now. And obviously this Night Stalker ban is usually a ban you just don't want to give it to the other person if you know that they're gonna snowball.
Yeah.
And we see Ogre being picked up. Ogre is a pretty, I think Ogre is really good when you have a decent strat in mind that uses its bloodlust around. But if you don't have that idea when you're picking Ogre, I think your draft can fall apart pretty easily.
Yeah, I think a lot of players just pick Ogre for the fact that he's a decent laner. I mean, you have decent harass with the Ignite. He's pretty tanky, can go up to even if he's playing in the safe lane, he can like just walk up to people and start right-clicking them without any fear of actually dying. And in return, we have Tempest picking up Disruptor. Disruptor has been one of their favorite picks from the time that I remember, and he's a very strong pick right now in the meta. Spectre pickup.
Yeah.
That's an extremely strong pick.
Extreme meta pick, you know, hard to deal with, hard to play against. You cannot, it counters quite a lot of heroes like the Drow Ranger, if you want to go for a sniper, any of those squishy heroes that you can quickly burst on the back line. So that hero's just been very popular. It farms also pretty efficiently as well. So that's a nice pickup by 683.
Yeah, I mean, you get a few clarities on the Spectre and you're good to go with the Spectre Dagger. You can just wipe out camps really fast. You have dispersion taking out, helping to take out the camps as well. And he's a hero that doesn't need a lot of items. With a few items, he can be effective during team fights.
Yeah.
You just go.
As soon as you have Haunt, basically, you can always have a numbers advantage, which makes the hero just that much better in this team fight meta.
Yeah. And I think that's another reason that NP has been around in the meta for some time now. He's extremely strong, able to be there in the fights in an instant, just adding that extra man into any fight that is going on across the map.
And we see the Tinker ban, which is a good ban against 683 since they do play a pretty decent Tinker.
Yeah.
They do also play Visage and all these annoying heroes like the Storm Spirit that they actually are really nice with the Lifestealer combo. But obviously with the Spectre pickup, we might not see that Lifestealer. I see AM being banned out by 683. AM ban, I'm not too sure. I mean, it's not bad of a ban.
Lina is also a really decent ban. I think Sri Lankan players like to run Lina 4 a lot. Even position 2 mid. But I think as a 4 hero, this hero absolutely excels. You get like a few mangoes into the lane and just keep spamming out your LSA and you trade a lot better than any other hero basically.
Other than maybe, no, even Rubik you don't. I think it's hard to out-harass a Disruptor though. Just because of Thunderstrike. Just because of Thunderstrike and her range. Because Lina range is very similar to Disruptor, but Disruptor I think is a little bit bigger. I'm not too sure about that. But I think Disruptor has a decent trade because you don't walk close enough to get an LSA
I think
basically.
Lina range is a bit bigger than Disruptor's.
But I think Disruptor doesn't walk into LSA range. So it's always easier for the Disruptor to get that extra magic harass.
I think his cast range on Thunderstrike is a lot longer than Lina's
and
normal.
Obviously it gives you vision, so if Lina tries to hide in the trees, she can't really hide and you get extra hits in.
Yeah, and of course, another mistake that I feel like a lot of players do, they go for level 1 LSA and then go into Dragon Slave next, which I personally don't like.
I don't think it's that.
You go for Fire Souls just because of that.
You trade much better. You can just stand and hit and then you just trade more.
I think that's a mistake that a lot of
players do. They're just targeting this cheese strat that comes out from 683 if they do get their hands on one of those heroes, which is a decent way to draft. Like you just don't want to give them their best heroes, so they have to play with.
For me, I feel like Meepo is not that great right now in the meta. I mean,
you pick Sand King and Disruptor. You're not that scared of Meepo.
Exactly. And you really don't need to waste a ban there for the Meepo. Tinker, I understand maybe the Tinker player is really good and they have a spec already, but even if they pick the Tinker, I feel like they are already very greedy with the spec Tinker and Ogre, and Ogre doesn't really benefit the Tinker at all.
But I just think the Haunt is really good with Tinker just because of the rockets. You get vision for the rockets, you get vision for laser, and it just helps you team fight really well, especially with the tanky support that can go and absorb all of the spells at the start of the fight like an Ogre. And we see a Tiny Bee picked up by by Tempest here. It is okay, but the reason you want to go Tiny is because if the enemy team does have burst targets, it's easier to deal with. And right now, both these heroes look like they're going to be on the safe lane. You can't really kill them. Even with a Sand King that does a lot of magic damage, it's actually pretty difficult.
That's a hard two targets to kill. Ogre is very tanky. Spectre as well, I think, is fairly tanky enough, I think, during the early game. It does not really die to the tiny stun toss combination. And we do see the Lifestealer being taken out by 683. I mean, I don't think Spec is worried about Lifestealer.
Lifestealer has been used as a counter just because Spectre's HP gets really high. And you do a lot of damage later, especially with a Silver Edge that you could get on Lifestealer. It's a decent item because you get Echo Saber, you can build into the Silver Edge pretty easily, and the Spectre would be in a little bit of trouble, especially if they have burst damage like the Sand King and the Tiny. As soon as you break him, he dies quickly.
That's true.
So the Lifestealer band is okay. I think it's alright. It's just that Lifestealer needs to get that Silver Edge, and they can just counter it by picking a hero that can do well against the Lifestealer in the lane. So they don't really need to ban it out, but rather counter it and capitalize on it.
I like this Ruby pick. Another very strong position 4 in the meta right now, plus has decent skills to steal. I mean, you have Auto Strike, you have Epicenter, you have Thunder Strike, you have Glimpse. kinetic field, tiny toss, stun, any of these skills really do work with Rubik. So he has quite a bit of skills that he can actually make do with during team fights.
But the only problem right now is that the Rubik is one of the heroes that could get comboed down and destroyed very quickly in these fights if the Rubik is out of position. So this Rubik does need to have a really good position for them to actually accomplish what he needs to be done, which is pretty difficult for lower skill based teams. The positioning is kind of here and there.
Yeah.
And if it's a tiny, all he needs to do is find the Rubik, blink, and use the skill. So it's not that hard to do as well. And positioning is pretty difficult. So let's just see how it plays out. The Rubik, in theory, is very good, especially if they're the ones initiating with the Spectre Horn.
Yeah.
But now we see a Viper being picked up, which is a nice pick here.
And they have that break for the Spectre as well with the Viper.
So then there we go. Nobody needs to get Silver Edge anymore. The break is there for the Spectre, but the only problem with this Viper pick is Spectre late game does not care about Viper too much. So Viper does need to apply the pressure and push for, in this early game. And we have a Doom pick here, which I don't like.
Same here, doesn't really offer a lot per se, because unless the other one's initiating and taking someone out.
Who does he Doom?
Disruptor, right? Or has to be Sand King?
I feel like that's like if he dooms the Sand King or the Disruptor, they still have so much stuff. Like that doesn't remove a huge team fight ultimate or remove something that they won't be able to deal with per se. Like it's not the best Doom. Like the Doom, obviously the best Doom target would be Viper, I think, in my opinion. Just because of you can not let them break, not let him ult, so many things there. But I don't think this Doom is going to reach the Viper. Viper is just going to hit him from far and he's going to die.
For sure. So waiting on the last two picks from either side and the last two bans now. Tempest with their last ban has around another 1 minute of reserve time left. So they do have some time left to decide who they want to pick and ban. Either way. They do need their safe lane carry, I assume. Assuming that.
So just they need to ban a mid now. They're thinking of what's the best mid hero that's going to destroy Viper. And I mean, there are quite a few heroes that kind of wreck Viper, like Morphling. Morphling is a really good hero. And I know 683 does play Morphling. Like Viper has no chance against the Morphling.
Yeah.
That matchup is just very Morphling favored. But they do opt to ban the Zeus here. It's one of the bans. You see Sven being banned out on the other side. I don't think Sven would have been a good pick anyway. But we see PL being banned out and the Wind Ranger. Wind Ranger is also pretty good against the Viper in the mid lane. So I like the Wind Ranger ban. Zeus ban is a little bit iffy, but it's okay. And we see PL ban coming out from 683, which I don't think Tempest would have picked, honestly. I think Tempest wants to go for like a TB here. See, Magnus being picked up. So this, okay. Magnus mid, I guess.
Yeah, Magnus mid with the Doom off lane and Spec safe lane. Only problem is Magnus buffed the Spec and the Doom both.
Magnus gets destroyed by the Viper though, absolutely destroyed. And they need Viper to not have a good start.
Yeah, and I think they're banking on the fact that Magnus can probably one of the fastest farmers right now in the meta. He just as soon as he hits a couple of levels on his Empower, he clears all the side camps, he clears all the lane. He doesn't really need to stay in the lane itself. And then if the Creeper is pushing under his tower, he can always quickly farm a couple of neutral camps and be back by the time that the wave is next to your tower.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, in this lane, it's not going to be easy for the Magnus. Magnus won't be able to step into the lane from level 1.
Yeah.
And if Viper just plays well and brings Mangoes to himself, this Magnus is going to have a really tough time here. And now we see the last pick, 20 seconds left. I do really like TB in this situation. I think TB is one of the best picks they can go for. But they go for Slark, which gives them a good Doom target.
Yes. Which
so
gives
kind of helping the enemy team. I would have liked the TB because TB meta and you Doom him, he doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, let's see how it goes. Slark is good in the lane against the Doom.
He's very strong against the Doom in the lane.
The Doom in the lane. But there is going to be a Rubik that is going to kind of mess with him a little bit, which I don't know how they're going to play this because the Disruptor is really strong, I think, against Doom as well. You just get that kinetic field off. If you hit the kinetic field, you're dead because Slark is just so good at capitalizing on any stun that you provide him early game as well. So I think most of this game just depends on whether this Magnus can do something with his hero, honestly.
Tough to say. I think it'll come down to how much he is able to get out of the lane and how much he transitions into afterwards. But like you said, I think the biggest problem is that Ogre doesn't really help the team in any way. I feel like buffing the spec, yeah, it's okay, but it's not like buffing your Draw Ranger or Troll Wall.
I mean, it's pretty good. I think the Ogre buffing Magnus and Spectre just
Magnus,
makes it,
yes.
yeah, both of them is pretty good because especially with the Desolate damage, it's just really good. If anyone is alone and he has Bloodlust and you have a Bloodlust Spectre, the hero just disappears from existence.
Then Magnus Empower, I guess it will help the spec farm
this is like
faster.
a buff lineup if you think about it. They have the Ogre buff, the Magnus buff, and I think Spectre just farms and they plan to win like that. But the problem is, if this Viper gets a really good start, Spectre gets affected as well as Doom. So this Magnus, he has to do something. He has to get his Blink Dagger, he has to focus this Viper, make sure he doesn't have the best game.
And then you have a Slark also, you need to stop him from snowballing, because if the Slark starts snowballing, this game is over. He's decent against all the heroes on the other side, and a snowball Slark just runs through these heroes very fast.
And I think with Aegis as well, Slark is just unkillable here. Especially like if they use a Doom on the Slark and he has Aegis, then that's just game over. So I think this is just a match for who plays higher tempo, especially with this Viper Slark. If they just have good lanes, this game is going to end really fast.
Yeah, very strong combination, and like.
Yeah, I think they just needed to get Morphling instead of Magnus.
Yeah, and Slark will obviously genuine Silver Edge carrier as well, just because now you can combine it with the Echo Saber. So.
Because Morphling would have dealt with the TB pick as well, if they did pick it. I think it was a good Morphling game for 683, but yeah, unfortunately they didn't go for it. I know they have a Morphling player as well. Maybe the Morphling player is playing the Spectre. That's what I'm thinking. That's why they didn't go for Morphling. Yeah, and they might have thought it's maybe too greedy. But I mean, this is greedy as well.
This is greedy as well.
Yeah. And we see Tiny starting off with boots, tangos, and a sentry. Very nice position for start off. You want that sentry early, just in case the Ogre tries to capitalize with a ward. Its ignites are really annoying, so you wanted to get rid of that ward ASAP. As well as they might get a sentry for the Sand King, so you want to deward that as well.
So they are going to be trading runes, at least for the time being, and moving into their individual lanes. So laning stage, you have Disruptor Slark top lane against that Doom plus the Rubik.
Ooh, both mid players missing their block here. This favors Viper, but since Viper missed the block, it was a big deal that Magnus actually let that go.
Yeah.
Because Magnus would have had a really nice start if Viper. And Viper right now, what he needs to do is just stand on that high ground and pressure that Magnus a little bit and not let his range creep get denied like that. So he's giving this Magnus a little bit of space. And I mean, maybe he's just scared of a skewer or something, but yeah, he should be playing a little bit more aggressive, I think, in that matchup. I see Rubik just, I think, a little bit out of position, tanking too much damage there, just a fade ball there. But yeah, I think it's okay for now.
I think it's like this top lane, I think they can get a kill, I feel like. Slark and the Disruptor together should be able to kill.
Yeah, I think Rubik should die if he gets Kinetic Field.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there's no way for Doom to help. So
doesn't offer anything in terms of, disables or...
And we see the Rubik just spamming out his Fade Ball, but not to get the range creep. So it's a little bit odd that he's doing that. Oh, and bot lane.
So bot lane, we do have the Sand King in trouble, tossed up in the air, tossed to the creep for some reason. Oh. And the Spec will take him down, and one more hit, and there goes the, the Sand King in the lane. And
good start for 683 right now, getting that Sand King kill. Sand King is actually not supposed to die in this lane at all. Like, this is not a lane he should be dying in, especially with the sentry and just the Tiny as well. There's no way you should be dying in this lane. You should be controlling the lane properly, not letting the creeps build up with Sandstorm and making sure that you have the advantage in that lane. And we see the Magnus as well in the mid lane, holding a point just in case he needs to use the skewer, but getting 2 levels in Empower for now.
And he hasn't really transitioned into any of the safe camps on either side. Still building up his Empower.
Oh, and Rubik gets a lift up on the Slark. Slark takes a lot of damage here. Damage he probably didn't need to take. Could have just let the wave push into him there. and just going to cost him a little bit of his regen right now.
I mean, what do you think the timing is? Like, what does the timing look for both teams here?
Right now we see
Bottom lane. That's the replay of the Sand King going down.
Yeah.
That was
Even
first
here,
blood.
like if he could, I mean, he would have died to ignite anyway if he stayed in the Sandstorm.
Yeah.
But you could see that he needs to have Sandstorm ready if he wants to play that close to them. Yeah, and as you're talking about the timings for this game, Viper, if he gets, it depends on what item Viper wants to get. So if Viper gets like a Rod of Atos or something like that, then you know you can pressure the Doom, you can pressure the Rubik, pressure the Ogre, and you focus on those lanes. But if the Viper wants to get like a Dragonlance and stuff, then it's more of a let's wait until Slark gets Shadow Blade sort of game. So I mean, it depends on what the Viper wants to go. And obviously Tiny is just going to cause havoc. The Magnus dying mid lane, as I talked about, just he's going to have such a hard time in this lane. And getting solo killed there is a big deal for Magnus.
Yeah, dying alone against a Viper and giving the Viper extra gold, extra EXP, it's not always a good sign, especially when you're countered that hard in the lane as well.
Yeah, especially like you know that you're going to die if you get like hit by 3 poison attacks. So like you just aggro creeps, and if you contest the aggro as well, you let the lane push out towards you and then you take it on the tower. Or you go farm the small camp. And this just, and we can see Slark having okay last hits. He's supposed to be having more, I think. I think the Disruptor might just be pulling a bit too much, and you can see him wasting a little bit of mana and losing his career as well. So Disruptor, not really playing the best in this lane. Yeah. He needs to be a little bit more careful with his mana. And another career, is it going to go down here?
Oh, but they are trying to go on the Rubik here. Rubik might get gone on. They do not have kind
if he gets out here, it's going to be crazy good for Rubik. But he's going to die here.
He's dead for sure here. So Slark does get that one edge
but
point.
2 careers is a little bit too much to give, I think. I mean, it's not as bad as it was a few patches ago, but Doom. They might go on the Doom here. Doom is going to get hit quite a bit here, and even in the bot lane here, Sand King getting gone on. He does have stun, I think, to get out of this, but he is taking so much damage here, but it's going to be fine.
Right?
And on the top lane, Doom going down as well, just because he just overstayed his welcome while Rubik was dead, and Doom does go down to the Slark, and he has 2 Agi now. The snowball is happening slowly.
Yeah, these little agi points that he's getting, it's just going to translate into him snowballing. As soon as he gets his Shadow Blade, he'll be moving around the map, killing targets like the Rubik. I think that's his, like you said before, I think that's his killable target right now.
Yeah.
Everyone else is a bit hard to kill, but with the Silver Edge and basically going on heroes like the Spec and even for that matter Doom and Viper later on. He's going to be able to.
Yeah, and we can see this Viper right now. He needs to understand that, like, just killing the Magnus once isn't enough.
Yeah.
You have to stop him from farming for him to be actually useful. So, like, the supports need to make sure their wards, and we see the support coming from the backs. Tiny is smoke, so they do want to pressure this Magnus more. He decided not to go for the career there, but he needs to get vision down. This is the more important thing to do as a position 4 right now in the mid lane. If you know you can pressure the mid laner when he's farming, you should get a ward down, make sure the Viper is safe, and make sure he can always pressure that Magnus and force TPs and get back. That's basically what you want to do as the mid laner and as a position 4 right now. And I think the position, Sand King dies again in this bot.
It is really bad. Slark does have an item being delivered to him. He does have it. Meanwhile, Slark needs to be careful. Doom is trying to go on him. Slark falling down low. Disruptor is coming in.
Yeah, and Slark should be fine here. They just don't have the damage in this lane. The Doom pick doesn't seem to be working as nicely as they wanted it to. And Slark is just going to get free farm right now. And Tiny again rotates mid. He has an Invis rune this time, so he's allowed to get a little bit closer now. Let's see what he decides to do. He might just rotate all the way top and toss Doom into the tower. And here we see Viper pressuring a little bit more here. Magnus is still probably going to get this last hit if he does it properly. But see, that's not enough. You should go pressure him out of the lane. Like, he should have used his second skill to push out the lane and then go to the side camp and hit him with point.
Meanwhile, top lane, we do have them going on to the Rubik here. Rubik will go down.
Oh, glimpse! Nice
glimpse back on the Doom. Doom falling on low.
Could just
gets
kill
the latch on.
Here,
he can turn around and hit the Slark. I'm not sure why he's not hitting. 1 HP away from the Slark from dying, but they might be able to clean up this kill. onto the Doom. Slark needs to be careful.
Slark still might die here. He used the dark pack. He gets even lower right now. He just needs one hit. Getting blocked by his teammate. Oh, the toss is there too. Ogre rotates in. Tiny gets his combo, kind of gets his combo up, but he does manage to save the Doom here and might turn on the Disruptor. Ogre does have, I don't know if he has an Over Venom or not, but if he did, he probably would have been able to get the kill. Unless Disruptor had boots here. I'm not too sure. But in the end, Ogre not able to get anything here. And Slark survives.
Yeah, right now, not even 10 minutes, 7 minutes into the game. A bit action-packed here. 7 kills already on the board. So every minute there is a kill happening. And I mean, I feel like it's more action-packed than last game.
Last game they were a bit mid. I think they had obviously a bit more strategy involved. Right now they're just running at each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it's just turning with the TPs and stuff like that. And we see another gang coming onto the Slark. They're trying to pressure the Slark as much as they can. But he does have Dark Pack. He does take a lot of damage.
And
you see the Horn from Spectre, gets the dagger as well onto Slark and gets the kill, but will she be able to survive here? Glimpse onto the Spec, into the tower. Gonna take more damage, but is she gonna be able to get out? She might be actually. There's gonna be a TP,
okay.
And there's no stun to save her. I mean, to stop her, sorry. Slark does go down. But at what cost, I feel like?
Yeah, I mean, they lost a few heroes. Their tier 3 got pressured.
I mean, I guess it gives some space to the Magnus, right? It gives some space for the Magnus to come back into this game because the Magnus was not involved in that fight at all. He got his treads, he got 2 bracers, he's pretty tanky now. He can use his RP now to at least try to get a kill maybe on the Viper. But let's see if he's going to...
Viper is a very hard kill maybe.
In the top lane here, the Slark is getting pressured again. He's taking some damage here. Will he go down? Doom is taking a lot of damage as well. Doom is going to fall here for sure. One more hit and he is...
So Slark getting another one?
Yeah, but Slark is getting chased a little bit. Will he be able to survive? This gets really low, but he's running away as fast as he can.
He's okay. Now the Ogre comes in as well. We're not just being used. The Sand King might go on the Ogre.
He has stun soon right now. He's going to use the stun. Glimpse as well. He's going to do a lot of damage on this Ogre. Slark comebacks, gets the Agi as well. Oof.
Now it has come to the point that Slark is going to be able to steamroll his way through. He is going for... why does he have a Ring of Regen?
That Ring of Regen these days are just used by carries instead of actual regen.
Okay.
Just a regen. And you sell it later basically. Yeah, it's a little bit weird. Anti-mages go like 2 rings as well sometimes. So yeah, it's pretty cheap and it's pretty... cost effective as well if you have a decent lane and you're not getting harassed too much, especially in this lane where they don't have that much damage. It's easy to regen the little bit of damage they do, and it did help him survive in a lot of situations where he was really low.
True. Like while he was getting chased down under the tower on the top lane. So meanwhile there is a rotation coming into that top tower. Multiple heroes on the side of Team Tempest walking in. They will clean out the Rubik here. Looking for more. Doom is still hiding in the trees.
Yeah, Doom is not going to be able to defend this tower, I think. I mean, he could call some help from the Magnus with the RP because they did use a few spells right now. But there's a glimpse on Disruptor, so if anyone TP's in right now, they're just going to get glimpsed back. So they need to be careful.
Worst thing ever to happen.
Yeah, if they want to TP to this tower. And I think they're just content with Slark farming right now because he is pretty fat. He just needs to get one item, and Viper as well. He went for phase boots, which I don't understand too much. But... yeah, it's interesting, I guess.
But tier 1 tower mid is almost down. I mean, it has taken quite a bit of damage. I think Magnus cannot...
Viper does not have mana to fight. So if Magnus does decide to go on him with a little bit of support, they might actually get the kill on the Viper. Meanwhile, Spectre, farming bot, gets the stun on the Sand King.
Onto the Sand King. He uses the Sandstorm, but he impels out of it. There is no sentry as such. They did D-ward. And meanwhile, they are trying to chase out the Tiny. Falling down low, gets the toss back onto the Spectre, but he's back again with that drums and face boots, and he will...
But a nice stun by Sand King. Double stun into Kinetic Field missile, but the glimpse back gives the Spec a little bit more time. I mean, they give them a little bit more time to kill the Spectre, but Spectre does manage to get away, does have the toss, and the toss is enough to kill the Spectre here. And Ogre as well, getting caught out here. Sand King with a nice double stun to make that attempt work. Helps them quite a bit here. Meanwhile, mid lane, Magnus is pushing, but there is a TP from Tiny to mid, but Tiny is pretty low. He might just get RP'd and died if he isn't careful right now. Magnus also having the Oblivion Staff makes him attack a little bit faster. So
he is going for that Echo Saber that we have seen. He'll go probably Echo Saber into Crystallis and BKB afterwards. And I think they are okay right now. They just need to make sure that they don't feed the Slark, because as fed Slark, it just becomes scary across the map.
Yeah, and Doom does, there is the replay onto the Spectre. Spectre does go down in the end right there. To the combo from Tiny, not really the combo, but yeah, does take him down in the end. Nice chase, and yeah, that was it for that engagement. I don't think there was any way they could have turned that to their favor. And we see Viper not really using any mana, not getting clarities or anything like that, and his farm speed is dropping quite a bit because of it. And we see Sand King dying again in this bottle lane disruptor. He has I think he has Glimpse ready, I'm not too sure. And Rubik has the DD, just zoning them out right now. Gets the steal, gets probably Avalanche or Toss.
Yes, Toss.
Toss is one of the better skills to get from Tiny for now. Just
what is the spec going for right now? He is trying to, he does have the drums up. He is trying to go for that Manta style into probably Skadi.
Probably Diffusal Blade.
Oh yeah, Diffusal as well. Really good against the Viper.
Slark just diving the tower here. Will he be able to get the kill onto the Rubik? Rubik trying to juke him out here. Slark is pretty fast though. He might get the pounce off if he plays it well. Yeah, he does get the pounce off. Rubik tried to toss him away, but it's not going to be enough.
He does steal the pounce, I think. No, he didn't steal it.
No, but Slark is taking quite a bit of damage in this under this
He
tower.
does have ult, he does pop it, and he will get another edge charge.
Bit too close for comfort, in my opinion. Could have just ulted and killed him, but I guess he was playing on the edge a little bit.
Knowing the limits of the hero.
I mean, he didn't know if any TP came in, he was
Probably. Yeah.
And we see Magnus finishes his Echo Saber, going for the blink next to make sure he can probably skewer back one of the heroes and kill them before anything happens. And there we go, the skewer in with the RP turned around onto the Ogre so he can get the stun off as well. And Viper goes down as soon as he gets that Echo Saber. Horn probably not needed, but the Viper going down.
I think that's just for the assist, right? Spec coming in at that time, he wants to be involved in at least a few team fights so that he does get that assist goal.
I'm not too sure about that. Just because of the fact that they can abuse the fact that there's no Horn online now, and they can use it to their advantage. And
Pounce misses onto the Doom.
But
Doom
Tiny
misses
is
the
still
stun.
there
Tiny is there with the stun toss. He's still alive. They pop the drums, I think, on someone. Still trying to chase, but the Rubik is there for the fight, and we get another toss on the Rubik.
Yeah.
If Slark got that pounce off, the Doom was 100% dead there.
Most probably, yeah. But Slark did not have ult, so it could have changed a little bit since Rubik did steal the toss. Could have changed, he could have got bursted down as well, but I mean, we'll never know. And now Magnus is kind of online, even though he was behind for most of the game. The Viper just not doing anything with that advantage that he got against the Magnus.
And he almost had a free lane, right?
Yeah. And now he is paying the price for it. As I said, he did go for the Dragon Lance, so he's just waiting for that Slark Shadow Blade. He's just opting to farm right now, which I think he didn't need to do. He could have probably played this a little bit better, faster.
We're going to be used on the Spectre. The Impel is going to be there. The Epicenter, they do not have it, so they're just going to hit the Spectre and pray to God that he dies.
And he doesn't die.
Yeah.
I thought they probably thought that they have enough time for the Viper to rotate in, but unfortunately the Viper
was a bit too far there.
A bit too slow of a hero to rotate in like that. It just takes quite a while for this hero to actually move across the map. Even with Faded Brooch, it just feels like he's just so slow. And we see Slark. He's looking for another kill on Rubik here. Rubik in a little bit of trouble. He does get caught out. Pounce scores as well. No paintball.
And there's another dead Rubik?
Might be, might not be. There are no TPs in so far. The pounce is up in 1 second. He might get the pounce off again, and Rubik is gonna fall here.
That's what is that? 6, 7, 5?
7 permanent injuries for the Slark.
Yeah, 7.
Yeah. And now we see the Viper getting an Illusion Rune, looking probably to push the mid lane, but Magnus does have RP up, and they know Static Storm is down for a few more seconds as well. So they might decide to go on this Viper once again just to slow down the pace of the game a little bit more. But because they can't really deal with the Slark right now. They use the Doom, they don't have Doom right now. Spectre died. I'm not sure where Spectre died. I didn't really notice that. But Magnus does have a blink as well, so...
He's very farmed.
Yeah, he's farmed, but he's not really doing anything on the map, which is what I find a little bit hard to grasp, because he's farmed enough to where he can blink RP, skewer someone back and get a kill and start the fight on a 5v4 basis.
Yeah. So I think they are just content with farming just because they do have the spec in their lineup and they know that they are strong later on in the game, especially with the Ogre, and then you have the Magnus buff as well, and even the Magnus for that matter. Later this game goes stronger. Just absolutely strong that hero is, especially with that buff, right, from the Ogre.
Yeah, we see the Disruptor smoked in with the Tiny. It looks like they do want to make a go at this Magnus here. Before the Magnus goes on to them, they're trying to place a ward, I think. And we see a TP dug up by, I think. Oh, and Magnus blinks to the high ground, destroyed the sentry ward, I think. I don't think they got a ward down yet. And the Viper looking for people right now. They do find the Magnus. Magnus does not have skewer since they just used it. Rubik does steal.
He might go down here. Kinetic field and as well as Static Storm also going to be used. So toss back onto the Doom. Doom will go down here as well. They do get the Rubik as well. And that is going to be 3 heroes dead. Sam King falling on low but still alive. They are trying to go out to the Viper. Viper falling on low. He's looking for a target to toss onto the Ogre here.
Ogre just very close to dying but doesn't die in the end. And that was a good goal coming from Team Tempest. Oh, and Disruptor. What a play there. Just
baller.
Yeah, just goes in. He's like, no, he's here. I know he's here. And he just kinetic field, cues him, and he does go down in the end. And we see they did get the mid tower, so this is just a lot of space for the Slark right now. So Slark is also getting really farmed, and they're just winning team fights left and right as well. And here we can see the Magnus paying the price for using Skewer to de-ward a sentry. Very, very unfortunate for him because he had the most farm. He's the one who has to make the plays here, and him making that crucial mistake is affects the team quite a bit.
For sure. So right now, Tiny does Tiny go for the same damage build like Echo Saber?
No way.
He goes for the support one, right?
Yeah. He goes for support here, and we see Doom getting used onto the Slark. Flanking here. Yeah, Slark does join the fight here, gets stunned up, and he almost
my
goes down.
god, the damage from the multicast.
Oh, multicast plus Echo Saber Magnus with Empower is just way too much damage.
That's just insta-dead.
Yeah, I don't think he expected that. He had ult and everything. He could have even queued there, but I mean, he just didn't expect it, and yeah. Not what you really want right now. You want the Slark to kind of start snowballing now so that they can take the game before the Spectre gets farmed. But Slark feeding a kill there is actually a pretty big mistake by him.
Right now sitting at around 6k net worth lead, sorry, 3k net worth lead,
yeah.
In the favor of the Dire team. But still though, not forgetting they do have like a Magnus as well as a Spec. So Magnus farming has not been contested for some time, even though he did go down once. He's still pretty high up in terms of last hits. He's the highest right now in terms of last hit. We'll see what the net worth graph looks like here. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's either the Magnus or the Viper who is ahead.
Yeah. And now we see a smoke coming again from Team Tempest. The last smoke they used was really helped them quite a bit. So let's see if they can pull off the same thing again right now. We see the Sand King not being smoked, so he might be the one who's trying to bait them into it. Slark is top though, so they're going to have a fight without the Slark here. Viper is on the front line. The Ogre has no idea. Viper doesn't ult there.
He had the range, right?
He had the range and he had Q as well. He could have used Q, but he just decided to right click, which wastes a lot of time for the side of Team Tempest. And now they're going to group up here. Magnus is ready with the Empower as well onto the Spectre. They want to fight right now. They don't have Horn, but they do have RP. And Viper finishes off the Halberd right now, which is going to help a lot against the Magnus.
Yeah, against the Magnus, right? Spec doesn't care as much.
Yeah.
I guess just
because you see a blink in by the Tiny, trying to toss the Ogre back, but just a little bit out of range there. And now Slark might go onto the Spectre here, looking to just push out the lane though. I don't think Slark
what does Slark have? Is he going for Silver Edge? Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is going for the Silver Edge just to deal with that Spectre. He does have the Echo Saber already with the drums and the wand as well. So he does need quite a bit more. We see the stun missing onto the Rubik. Rubik steals the stun here. Magnus goes in, skewers him into the tower here. It is a good play right now. Gets the RP as well onto just a Viper here, which is more than enough. But the Static Storm
on
coming
top of it. Tiny is there for the fight as well. Ogre comes in, gets a stun off onto the Viper. Viper falling on low. They are trying to fight this. The Tiny stun toss onto the Doom, and a stun by that Doom, a Center Storm coming out from him. The Viper will get taken down. So will the Sand King, and they do get the Tiny as well with that taunt, and now Doom onto the Slark, and that will be a dead Slark. So that's a full 5-man team wipe on the dire side.
Oh, yeah, that Rubik making a really good play there, stealing the Bara strike, going onto the Sand King and following up with that RP onto the Viper, making sure Viper died really fast in that fight, so the Viper couldn't really do anything. And then the Slark getting doomed in the end. They didn't even need to use the doom on anyone else. And here we see the lift into the stun onto the Sand King that follows up with the Magnus here into the tower. And the Sand King doesn't get to use his ultimate at all. And a nice RP as well down into the tower range. Static Storm is there, but it's not enough. They try to focus the doom, but the Magnus is playing on the edge right now, trying to get into a good position to get another good blink in. And there we go, another beautiful stun coming from the Rubik just to clean that up.
And Senta also did get off a two-man hoof stomp there. I think it was two-man, I'm pretty sure it was a two-man hoof stomp there.
Yeah, and then just the Doom in the end just clears up the Slark right now. Slark, little bit, he looks like he needs his Lincoln Sphere this game.
Yeah, I feel like that's their bread and butter during team fights. They want the Slark to snowball. And going for Lincolns, it's pretty decent.
Because he doesn't need a BKB this game.
Yeah, there's no massive spellcasters, right? You're talking of Rubik and Ogre, and later this game goes, it doesn't really matter. He can probably go for Skadi if he's worried about being bursted. He can go, maybe right now if he's going for Silver Edge, maybe Skadi next, followed up by something like an MKB for that extra damage. I think he's good to go, but he needs to make sure that he keeps farming and does not really, get caught out and die alone like what happened just because his team was up and dying.
Yeah. And we see Spectre going for the Skadi after the Manta style, like you said, which I don't really agree with. I think the diffusal blade makes a lot more sense with the Manta style. There's more damage, you get more mana burn, etc. Especially with the Haunt illusions as well. But does not opt to go for the Skadi, which is okay too. I guess if the Spectre doesn't die, she can just output more damage. But let's see, there might be a fight here. We're going to smoke into their own jungle. They know they dewatered the place. We see Spec trying to get vision of the Disruptor. Disruptor might get gone, and here Magnus has a blink. Oh, but a nice Static Storm.
Lovely play. And the Slark will go down. And RP on 2 heroes as well, squirt back, and they will get the Tony as well as the Sand King. And just the 2 heroes left, the Slark as well as the Viper. So Disruptor, Sand King and the Tony both dead, and they will hold the Slark in place.
With the DD right now, gets
trying to pounce on the oh no.
Yeah, and then it goes down. I think that Disruptor Kinetic Field did not expect the Magnus BKB there that made it into a 3-man RP, which was pretty crazy. And it turned into a really good team fight. Slark thought with the DD he could come and do something there, but then he noticed that they didn't use Doom yet, and he does just go down.
So meanwhile, he does have his Manta style. He's getting okay. Now we do see the replay back here. The smoke coming in from the Radiant side. They do find the Disruptor, but the Disruptor turn around with that epicenter, but the BKB RP from the Magnus to follow up onto the 3 heroes and immediately getting taken down. Tiny as well as the Sand King, and Slark just coming into the fight very late, and the Doom just being up at the time.
Yeah, just not a good fight coming out from the Dire team. A lot of miscalculations coming there. As soon as they noticed Magnus having a BKB in that fight, they should have just gone out. Slark shouldn't have even come to that fight in the first place, but as you can see, the kill lead at the start that Team Tempest got is kind of dwindling down, and this snowball that the Slark was going to go for is just gone now.
Well, but the game is going away from Team Tempest here. I mean, they still have a chance just because of the Slark and the Viper. And Viper level 25 is extremely strong, that silence.
Yeah, but imagine, they have to get to 25.
Exactly.
That's a big deal right now, because this Viper has just not done as much as he should have been doing in this game. I feel like he could have pressured so much more.
He had a free lane, right? He should have
pressured
for sure.
He could have got, even Maelstrom might have been better than this Dragonlance, in my opinion, just to output a little bit more damage and kill off a few heroes in these fights. But as you can see,
he's right now just tanky. He's just tanky.
He's not outputting as much damage as they really want to, and he's only providing a break right now. And I think Rubik has been playing well as well. He's still in Bara Strike.
good Bara Strikes, right?
He's still in Bara Strike a few times, and the Doom has always got the right Doom off, and Magnus has always got at least one good RP off.
Yeah, and he's going for a Glimmer Cape as well. I think Magnus got off like 2 RPs, which were really good, one was near the top tier 2, and then again near the
bot
outpost.
Shrine, outpost.
Meanwhile, Slark now looking to go for a BKB. I don't really think he needs this
Yeah,
BKB.
I think he needs the Lincolns for sure.
Yeah.
Just because of the Doom, just to deal with that Doom, he needs that Lincolns, and doesn't seem like he's going for it, which is very iffy right now, honestly. He might want to just get BKB and go on the Magnus, but I don't think the Doom is going to use Doom on anyone else.
Yeah. So Magnus also having his Silver Edge completed now, does have the RP backup. I feel like this is the time that they will try to smoke already. Pathings on the map being drawn out by team 683.
Yeah.
They're smoked up, heading into the enemy jungle. I feel like they have no clue that this is happening. They're still inside the jungle, waiting.
See Ogre going in front, getting the stun onto the Disruptor here. Disruptor getting caught out, trying to ward, but they're not going to capitalize on that, and Ogre might just go down here, might get just
In the meantime, they're looking for the Slark on the sidelines, but with the Haunt, Ogre still alive. They do get the stun off onto the Sand King. Meanwhile, Slark has been doomed up, lifted up, and he is dead on the side. And meanwhile, the fight on the other side is still happening. The Sand King falling down low, manages to blink out. They, mind you, they do still have Static Storm, and the Magnus does have that BKB and RP both up. They will probably get the Disruptor there. They are trying to go after the Tony as well. The Shockwave misses completely. Rubik manages to steal the stun off the Tiny, and the Viper RP was faked for a moment. I thought he might have actually used it because of the Tony, but nevertheless they do finish off the Viper, and the Tiny will blink away. I think he hesitated there. If he had like used it,
just used it, he would have got it for sure. It just he probably thought that he might not get to both of them, so why not? Why use it for no reason? And I mean that's also a valid argument. But now this Tiny gets to push out this bot lane, and they're not going to be able to get this tower. Or they might have to backdoor it. But they do just go RS right now, and I'm not too sure about the damage output of getting.
They don't have the
best.
best.
Yeah, they don't have the best, and they're spawning on the side of Team Tempest right now. I mean, it is going down pretty quickly with the Empower.
They don't really have a medallion as well.
If they were ready with the Epicenter here, it would have been pretty bad for the side of 683 just because they don't have Doom and Slark is up.
Yeah, and I feel like if they want to clear out Roshan that fast, they needed someone with a medallion, and there is no genuine medallion carriers on the side of 683. But nevertheless, they do manage to pick up that Aegis. It's going to go for the Spectre. I don't think it's really needed on the Spectre.
Magnus would have been
Magnus would have been a lot better. No one is going to be hitting the Spectre during fights because Magnus is such a threat right now. He is outputting so much of damage. He has the BKB.
Yeah, I think they have vision on them. We see the smoke coming out, and the blink in by Sand King does get the stun off, and the Epicenter gets cancelled by the Ogre.
No, it was actually the Rubik. No, it was the Ogre. And RP on to 3 heroes, and they are absolutely getting destroyed. The Epicenter barely doing anything at all, and now it was a stolen Epicenter by the Rubik, by the way, and they will clean out the Viper as well, trying to find the Tiny. Tiny just manages to blink out, and he will walk away scot-free. So stolen Epicenter into the RP from the Magnus, an easy peasy fight in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they're just playing the fights much better. The Sand King blinked in, got a stun off, and tried to ulti only the Rubik when there are so many stuns in the enemy team. I think that was a bit of, I don't think that was the best play for the Sand King.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, maybe if he had Sandstorm before he casted Epicenter, maybe, but he went directly into the Impel Epicenter, which was not going to yield anything, and ended up giving the Epicenter to the Rubik, who turned it around with the Magnus RP.
Yeah, I think the Ogre just was good in a good position there to cancel that Epicenter, so the Rubik doesn't die right off. And yeah, now they're going to be pushing the T2 mid right now, and we see a TP coming in from the Sand King, trying to set something up, but the Magnus is still alive, and they're all very close by, so I don't think the Sand King can really make anything happen here.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. Magnus is quite low on mana as well. He's going to be heading out. But see, Sand King keeping in that would have been okay if he had Epicenter. He might have been able to jump in.
That's a bit iffy. Right now, that's way too far behind.
Way too behind. I mean, the Viper has gone for...
Horn coming in, Horn going out, killing off the Slark immediately again. Slark
might go after the Sand. No, actually going after the Disruptor, who glimpses back the Spec, so he's out of the fight for some time. And meanwhile, on the side, they were going after the Sand King. Sand King has been taken out, and they are looking for more. Magnus with their Silver Edge, hunting
Magnus
for
looking for the Tiny. Not going to be able to find the Tiny here, I don't think.
Tiny has been realizing the fights are bad and has been getting out.
Yeah, just been getting out. He's like, I'm out, dude. I'm not dying.
Definitely not my fight.
And they're probably just going to go high ground now. Like, they have nothing stopping them. They have the Aegis as well.
A 16k net worth lead at the minute 21, is it?
Yeah, 31.
31, sorry. 31 minutes, 16K, that's a very significant lead. And Edge is on the spec with Scotty, Manta style, drums, and they're just going through. Oh, lovely scroll back onto the Viper. Viper will get taken out, but no, he's surviving for the time being because the Tiny managed to stun from the side, but the Viper will get taken down in the end. And that's the Viper Jet for 63, and it's going to be a free set of racks.
Yeah, free set, probably top and bottom, middle, sorry. Is going to get taken down. I don't think they have anything to deal with this lineup right now. They're just way too far ahead. They could have snowballed earlier in the game, but the Slark and the Viper just not pressuring and not really playing that well in the team fights that happened early game.
Meanwhile, Spectre gets caught. He still has edges. Will the team come to help him? Magnus does have RP. They might actually still take this fight. Glimpse back onto the Spectre. Spectre uses the Manta, does not get out. Slark in the meantime goes out to the Rubik. Rubik has the Ghost Scepter. He's trying to TP out. Sand King uses the Impel onto the Spectre. Spectre still alive here. He's just trolling around with his team. And he's trying to TP out. There is no glaive. No.
They had nothing there.
I feel like
the Spectre could have just fought. She had ages,
and the Magnus had RP. They just had to come and fight. But
I mean, okay, they played safe. I mean, it's okay. They got a Rex. It's fine. Playing normal.
There is no way that Dire fights right now.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, if they had such a good catch onto the Spectre there, and they just.
I don't think Spec dies to Epicenter Disruptor Alt even. Like you need to have.
No way.
You need to have Epicenter, Disruptor Alt, Slark, Viper hitting.
You need to have the Viper break on the Spectre to even try to tickle her.
Yeah.
Basically.
And then you have to have the Slark hitting her as well.
Yeah.
On top of that, there's no way that he dies.
And I mean, Viper, where's his item progression?
I mean, that Paladin Sword doesn't do anything for the Viper.
He got a Hurricane Pipe. I mean, that's not going to help him, is it?
Nah, not at all. Like, I understand if the Slark was on the other side getting the Hurricane Pipe.
Yeah.
But,
agreed.
Like, I mean, come on. What really does the Hurricane Pipe do for him right now?
I don't think this Viper is just playing the game. He had a really good lane. He just didn't play the game properly, and now we see the Abyssal going to be picked up on the Spectre. They're trying to go on the Spectre again, and this is going to be a little bit weird because they're just going to all
bounce forward. Spectre just turns around. He has the Basher now as well, fighting up against the Slark, but gets doomed up as well, and he is a dead Slark with a multicast on top of his head. They are trying to chase for more. Magnus going to go in.
Goes on him.
Oh my lord, the damage! He's going to shockwave him back a little bit as well, and they will take down this tier 2 tower easily. And this will be another set of racks, I feel like. How are these guys going to fight?
Game right here because the Sand King doesn't have buyback. And
Magnus is so fat. Forget the spec in this fight. Like Magnus.
There's the GG called by Team Tempest.
Yeah, that is GG well played. So it's going to be 6-8-3 moving on to the grand finals to face off against Team SL. Going to be an interesting match. I feel like Team SL definitely a lot stronger. But 6-8-3 coming in as the underdogs to this match in terms of experience and experience as such compared to Team Tempest. They showed that they have a lot to bring to the table. We might see an upset. We have seen upsets before.
We've seen them, but this is the best of 3, right?
This is the best of 3, so maybe one game upset. We might see some.
Very low chance.
Very low chances. But I mean, regardless, I think at the end of the day, the tournament will pick out the best team to represent the country, and these players will be participating. Whoever wins will be participating in the regional qualifiers, which includes a couple of countries in the neighboring countries to Sri Lanka. And the winners will, of course, move on into, from the regional qualifiers, will go into Israel for the grand finals, which will be happening, which is the World Championship for Esports, basically, which has Tekken, Dota 2, as well as PS, which is also happening. I think the finals are not over yet. I'll give you an update as and when I get it afterwards, like once it's done. But Tekken, of course, did conclude, so we'll be getting into the Dota 2 finals shortly. So do stay tuned in. We'll be right back with the grand finals for Dota 2.
The International Esports Federation 12th Esports World Championship Sri Lanka Qualifier, in association with the International Esports Federation, organized by Sri Lanka Esports Association. Strategic partner, Gamer.lk. Venue partner, Play Arena. Official games store partner, TechRoot.